What's up? Can y'all hear me? What's up, Urban Gun Reviews in the house? Mathis Bailey. Salute. Can y'all hear me? All right. We're going to go ahead and get started here. I got two brothers that's coming on with me live today. I'm super excited about these two guys. Two guys that I watch. And I watch their channels quite often. So the fact that they're spending some time with me today on a Saturday evening, I appreciate that. There's a lot of other things they could be doing on a Saturday evening. Same with y'all, like smoking a cigar. So we're gonna do that while we in here. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring those guys in. AFF. Latanya H, what's up? What's up, brothers? How y'all doing?
What's going on?
What is good? What is good?
How we doing?
We doing all right. How about y'all?
Good, man. Good.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
LeeMack912.
Yeah, man. I'm doing the old Bobby Brown thing. I'm sliding into position at the last minute, trying to get it together.
I hear that. I appreciate it. What's up, Devil Row? King Henry 47. Look, like I was telling them, I appreciate y'all coming on with me on a Saturday evening. Like I said, there's a lot of other stuff y'all could be doing on Saturday evening, but at least we doing the cigar thing, right?
Right,
sir.
Right.
You know.
Right.
All right. So before we get into our conversation today, I want y'all to do me a quick favor. Just for those few folks that might not be familiar with your channel, why don't you give them a quick rundown of what they would expect if they visited you or went over around your neck of the woods? Why don't we start with LeeMack912?
Yo, what's going on, family? It's LeeMack912. I got a little cigar channel that I started about 7 years ago, sitting out here in this garage that I'm sitting in because I was a newbie cigar smoker. Like my man Greyman said, he's a newbie. And I figured that as I learned things, I could teach other people that might be afraid to ask the questions that I was afraid to ask. So once I did that, I started doing the cigar reviews. But, you know, so being the dude that I am, I have a lot of stories. So I tell a lot of stories along the way. And I started realizing as the young folks started calling me OG, I said, well, I'm going to have to accept that and just keep doing what it is that I do. So it's grown to about 13,000 right now. And we are doing good. We have a good time every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do a live feed. I also do a show with my brother and sister in Spain at 7:15 Eastern on the iRobusto channel. So that's what I do. Since my man said that this was a cigar and gun conversation, I said, wait a minute. You can't leave home. So I said, well, let me go home and I got to pick up some hardware. So I don't want to feel left out. But,
let me cut you off for 1 second.
Yes, sir.
So YouTube does not allow guns to be shown on live.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you can't hold them or touch them on the live.
Well, we didn't mean to mess you up. Maybe they.
No. That's my fault.
They didn't see it. Don't worry about it. They didn't see it.
Yeah, I should have prepped you. We're going to get into what you got there anyways. That's going to be part of that conversation. But go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I'm good. That was it, man. That's it. That's good. I was just saying, hey, listen, we're going like anything else. When people get into guns, one of the things that annoys me is people that don't talk about gun safety and, you know, making sure that the gun is safe. So this is the thing here. We want to make sure that the weapon is safe and, you know, we don't have no accidental shootings and all that other stupid stuff, you know?
Right.
I
hear that. Diesel TV, let them know.
YouTube, what it is. All right. Diesel TV, man, got, you know, I started my channel a little bit over a year ago. I've been a police officer for right at 17 years. And my channel started off being a gun channel. And then I went to the ride along kind of thing and stuff like that. So I have ride alongs on my channel. Basically my channel is whatever I want to do, because I do guns, ride alongs, I do cigars, I do all kinds of stuff. So if you just want to come to my channel, have a quick laugh or something like that, and learn some stuff, because I do a lot of gun safety stuff. I do a lot of, talking about guns and techniques and things that sort, because I'm a certified firearms instructor for North Carolina also. So if you just want to come to my channel and have a good laugh or something like that, and just check me out, Diesel TV, man.
Hey Diesel, give them a little breakdown of what a ride along is for those that don't know.
Okay, so if you see in the background, you can't see it in the background, but I have my channel playing in the background whenever I go on live. But it's basically when I go to work, I bring my cameras and I just show the daily a daily shift of what I do. Now the ride alongs have stopped because of my promotion. I'm a chief of police now, so I'm not an actual officer on the streets. I actually run the police department now, so it's a little bit harder for me to get that footage that people want to watch, because my day is literally boring. I sit in front of the computer, I balance the budget, and I do a lot of paperwork. That's all I really do. So those ride-alongs have stopped, but I do have like 2 seasons of ride-alongs now. If you go to my channel, you can watch some of the things that I go through on a daily basis. I have some chase footage in there. I have a lot of car stops, vehicle stops, things of that sort. So that's what it is.
Yeah, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. So like I was saying, these 2 guys, man, I watch their videos. I go to their channel quite often. I've been smoking cigars for about a year or so now, almost a year, but we're gonna get into that here in a minute. But before we go down that road, what y'all smoking on and sipping on right now?
Yeah, let me take that. I just lit up Norteño. This is my camera is backwards, so I'm trying to get it together there. So got a little Norteño, and then I have a little bit of that's not tequila, it's whatever the other stuff is called. But anyway, so we got a little something there. We're gonna put it in the glass. We're gonna make it do what it do. I had to slide in here because I was over at my lounge, Spartan Cigar Lounge, so they were having a member appreciation. So I was over there feeling appreciated, eating, drinking, and smoking. So we're gonna continue on the party on this channel.
I like it. What you got lit up over there?
I just lit up a Liga Privada number 9. I just finished the Plasencia.
That's I just finished one of those too.
I just finished the Plasencia, but I lit up a Liga Privada number 9 just now. I was going to do an Opus X, but I ain't really feeling them Opus X. This is my first time smoking one about 3 weeks ago, and I smoked 2 of them. I bought 6. I smoked 2 of them, but I'm not really feeling Opus X like that. So I went ahead and went with the Liga Privada. The Liga Privada, number 9.
Okay. I like that Liga.
Diesel, we're going to have to talk about that Opus X, man. We'll get into that.
Yeah, let's do it. Because I know LeeMack, you ain't no bull. You gonna tell me how you feel about stuff. I'm the same way, because I done watched your channel a lot, and I watched your review on that New Air. And if you see back there, the reason why I bought that Adu Humidor back there is because of you. So
baby.
Well, I gotta say I like that Liga Privada, man, and that number 9. Right now that's my favorite one. So, but I'm trying something new tonight, and I got this one from, matter of fact, one of your videos, Diesel. You were recommending. I think you had made a trip to JR's or something,
right?
And you were showing like kind of what was in your humidor. So I said I'm gonna pick up something. He's recommended that he's smoking. And so I got the AJ Fernandez Enclave Broadleaf.
Oh man, you can't go wrong with that.
So I'm gonna give that a shot.
Can't go wrong with that. That's a good stick right there, man. I like it.
Yeah. And I'm sipping on a little bit of vodka and orange juice.
Oh, I forgot. I'm just drinking coffee. That's my favorite drink with sticks is coffee. So
see the coffee. When I drink that coffee and smoke a stick, man, I feel like I'm running on 10.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I leave that for early in the day.
Right. I got you. I drink coffee all the time. Coffee and donuts. You know what I'm saying? That's my profession. So
So my question to y'all is, because I always, as a newbie, like LeeMack said, I'm new. I've been smoking for about a year now, and I'm gonna get into a little bit later about how I got started. But what was your first cigar you ever smoked that got you into the game? Like what pulled you in?
LeeMack, we're gonna let you go first on all the questions since you the OG.
All right, I
and
appreciate
the
you.
man.
I appreciate you. And listen, so probably the first cigar I ever smoked was a Cuban because I was in the military. We were overseas. You could buy Cuban cigars, but I didn't know anything about cigars, so therefore that doesn't really count. The cigar that really counted was the Acid Cuba Cuba. That was my first cigar. I got it from free from Famous Smoke Shop. They had an ad in the paper when they used to print newspaper ads. They wanted your name and your email address or something like your address. They said, we'll send you a free cigar. Acid Cuba Cuba. I didn't know nothing about smoking cigars, Gray Man. I was sitting there like you. I went to YouTube to try to figure out how do I smoke this cigar because I had no clue. Acid Cuba Cuba. Every once in a while, I'll go back to the Cuba Cuba because that is my cigar that started me down the journey, and I still love that cigar, and I'll go back to it every once in a while.
Mm-hmm. I like that Acid Cuba Cuba. I like the Acid Cuba Madura. I like that one even a little better.
Right. I've never had one of those.
So what started you down the
So
road?
what started me was 2006. My partner had a child, and it was a boy, and he got those It's a Boy cigars and brought them to work. And that thing sat in my car for at least a week and a half before I smoked it. And it was dead with nothing going on. I was like, let me try this cigar. So I lit it up, I smoked it, and it was stale, but I enjoyed the aroma. I mean, the aroma of it was just like, oh man, I can get down with this. So I went back to the hospital because the only place you can really find those is at the hospital. So I went back at the time. Anyway, they don't even sell them at all at the hospital now. But I went back to the hospital, got some more. Every time I go back, they was like, "Oh, you're having a baby," so I had to stop buying them. But that's what started me out. And then from there, man, I just like the more you smoke cigars, it changes your palate. So you start getting different, stronger cigars and stuff like that. And it's just
right
there.
Right. So my first cigar was Drew Estates Java.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a Java. I actually my cousin invited me down to a lounge in Pittsburgh, and he said, "Why don't you come down and smoke a cigar?" I was like, I ain't never smoked no cigar before. I'm not even with it. So I went down anyway, and then he had the guy back in the humidor set me up with something that they considered it was mild, was easy, was something flavored. He said it got a little coffee, a little chocolate. So I was in then. I said, all right, a little coffee, a little chocolate flavor. So he put me on to that Java, and I smoked that one for a little while, maybe a couple of months before I even ventured out to anything else. Right. Next thing I know, I was trying like a Fat Bottom Betty from Deadwood Tobacco and some of that other stuff. So that's kind of how I got started.
That Fat Bottom Betty made me sick, man.
I heard you say that before. It made you sick.
It made me sick, man. It was. I don't know what it was. I think it was just too sweet for me.
Maybe it is.
Made me a little sick.
It is sweet. It is sweet. What y'all think about infused versus traditional? Because you know what people say. People that's been smoking. I shouldn't say people, but a lot of people that's been smoking for a while. If you smoking infused, they kind of like, dish you a little bit.
So I call those people the cigar snobs, and they'll say, "Oh man, I smoke real cigars. I don't smoke infused cigars." But listen, my motto has always been this: smoke what you like, drink what you like. If you enjoy it, it's okay. As a matter of fact, I'll give you an example. I was in the lounge tonight, so I asked the brother, "What was he smoking?" He said, "I was smoking the Hoyo de Monterey Excalibur Black." So I tapped the guy next to me and I said, that was my worst cigar of the year for 2021. My brother loved it. He said, I bought a whole box of those. Shout out to brother Ty. I'm like, hey, Ty, we all got to smoke what we like. So infused cigars is all right by me. Like I said, I started out with an infused cigar. I have infused cigars in my humidor. I'll smoke them. Some people hate on them. And, honestly, those people who hate on them but I said they're snobs, but they try to make themselves up here and everybody else is down here. It's like there's no up here and down there. We are all cigar smokers, and we are, we all have to smoke what we like.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Smoke what you like.
It's kind of like one of those things how the coffee snobs are. If it ain't black, You know what I'm saying? They're saying you ain't drinking real coffee, but I mean, like
Right.
LeeMack said, if you like it that way, I don't like my coffee black all the time. You know what I'm saying? So, but infused cigars, man, I like infused. Tabak is one of my favorite cigars, man. I mean, I love tabaks, and I'll smoke that any day. It's you know it's just like anything else. Some infused cigars I don't like, and some I do. But I don't look at somebody and say you're not a real smoker because you're smoking a fat bottom Betty or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's not. I don't think that's what it is, because all it comes down to the culture. That's what the smoking cigars is. It's the culture. It's not what you smoke. It's how you smoke it.
Yep, I
Listen,
hear that.
I will tell you this. I have it on good authority that one of the cigars that Michael Jordan likes to smoke is an infused cigar. And people will say, oh, he only smokes the Cubans and this, and that, whatever. But I have it on good authority that he enjoys an infused cigar. So if that's what you like, smoke it.
Right.
So, like I said, I got started, obviously on the infused cigars, but I'm kind of making that transition now so that I can kind of go back and forth between the two. I'm still going to always have a fat bottom Betty or a leather rose in my humidor, but I'm starting to get a feel for some of the other stuff too. Like I said, that Liga Privada number 9. You know what I just picked up, and I saw your review on it, LeeMack, is the Feral Flying Pig by Drew Estates.
Got one of those in the humidor. Yep. I haven't smoked it yet, but I got one in the humidor.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying that one. I'm looking forward to that one. Like this first cigars that we spoke. What about firearms? Let's change gears a little bit. What about firearms? What's your first firearm that you purchased or own?
So I was always one of those guys. I grew up in the Boy Scouts, and we started out with air rifles and went down to the range with pistols and whatever the rifles were or whatever. And I guess a few years ago when things started tightening up, I said, I might need to go buy something just to have. And, I live in Maryland, which people will say Maryland is a tough state for concealed carry. You can't get it. I said, well, let me see if I can figure it out. So I went down and picked up, this is a Versa 9mm, double stack. I think we got 13 rounds in it or whatever. So, and really at that time it was, you couldn't find anything. I went down to the guy, whatever he had in there, I was like, yeah, this looks good. I'll take this. Feels good in my hand. I'll take this one. Not knowing a whole lot about anything, but it was what it was available. So now I'm in the market for something else, but
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. Go ahead.
My first gun was a Kimber 1911.
Oh, you went straight up.
Yeah, man. And you know what? I tell a lot of people, if I knew about guns back then, what I know now, I wouldn't have gotten that Kimber. I would have gotten it like, my second or third gun. But I love 1911s. That's just, 1911s are my favorite platform. So I'm happy I got it,
Right. So my first one was a Ruger P95, a 9mm. And if you know anything about the Ruger P95s, it's a big chunky gun. It's a big old chunky gun.
Right.
But it was my first one, and I was just kind of like, I went to the shop to look at guns, and I couldn't believe how much they cost. Like I was expecting $100, $150. I was like 23 years old. Didn't have a lot of experience with real guns. I like the BB gun thing and all of that. But I looked, and the guns were, they had $500. You know what I mean? So to me, I thought that was too much to spend. So I ended up getting that Ruger, and I liked it. I had it for maybe a few years, and it was 9mm, so the recoil on it wasn't bad. So that was a good gun to get started with. But that was my first piece, Ruger P95. If you can find one of those today,
right,
it might be kind of antique-ish.
So let me ask you a question, right? So when I went down for the training, the guy was a big Glock guy, and so maybe it was just me, but it was like, we got specials on the Glocks, whatever, they work well, blah, blah, blah. But I was like, man, that's just an ugly piece to me. It's just a big, square, ugly piece. I was like, I don't want that. So, I mean, what's the thought on it? People going down, what should you do when you go down and say, hey, listen, I'm looking for, let's say, concealed carry weapon, right? I'm not going to talk about home defense. So what's some of the things that you should look for when you go down to the shop and say, all right, here's what I want and here's who I am?
So, you want me to answer that question?
Yeah, you go ahead and take that.
So this is what I tell people when they come to my training. I don't tell them what gun to get. What I tell them is if you go to a gun range, you need to rent you some guns and see what you shoot well. See what you shoot the best. Because a lot of people will say Glock is good because it holds 12, or this gun is good because it holds 21 or 17. But what I tell people is those 12 rounds don't matter if you miss the first 11.
Yeah.
So get you something that you can shoot the first 2 or 3 times and you'll be good. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. Like me, a lot of people, they get on me because I carry a 1911. It only carries 7 rounds. But statistics show average gunfight is 3 rounds. What I need 7 for if it's over at 3? I need to make sure them 3 go where they need to go. You know what I'm saying? So go to a range, rent you a few guns, see which ones you shoot best, fit best, conceal best, however you want to look at it, and then go from there at buying your gun. A lot of people want to push the Glocks. A lot of people want to push the Cigs and the Smith & Wessons. But like I said, some people, I don't shoot a Smith & Wesson good, but I can shoot a Glock very good. I can shoot a Sig very good, but Smith & Wesson just not in my forte. So I've got them, but I don't, like, if it was a self-defense kind of thing, I wouldn't be carrying that. You know what I'm saying?
And I agree with you 100%. I pretty much always tell people that same thing. If you got an opportunity to shoot the gun first, because when you go into a gun shop and you feel a gun based strictly on ergonomics on the gun floor, the gun store floor, you might feel something to be like, man, this feels great in my hand. But then once you shoot it, it's a whole nother thing. Like for example, I did a video with my daughter not too long ago, and she had 4 guns to choose from, and she held each of those 4 guns before ever shooting them, and she picked one of the 4 guns based strictly off of ergonomics and what it felt like in her hand, like a lot of people do in the gun store. And then I had her shoot all 4 of those guns, come back, reevaluate, and let's see if you picked the same gun. And she didn't pick the same gun.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you have that opportunity to shoot it first, obviously it's just like test driving a car. You know what I mean? You see that Cadillac XTS, it looks good, but when you drive it, are you going to like it? Is it going to fit, your style? So it's the same thing with the guns.
So are you able to, if you go down to a store, we got a store, a range, and they sell guns, right? Are you able to go down there and say, hey, listen, I'm looking at this or whatever, I want to shoot that? Is that something that you're able to do?
If it's in their renting catalog, like a lot of gun ranges have guns that you can rent. So they'll have a rack. So if they have that same gun on the rack where you can rent, yes, but you just have to tell them, what you want. And more than likely, they'll have the guns that most people buy for you to rent. You know what I'm saying? Those are the ones that they have most in inventory. So when you come out, you say you want it, they got it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if you just, all you have to do is just ask them if you can rent one, and they should be able to go ahead and do it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you definitely, if you get that chance, you definitely want to do that. And also, if this, I think you mentioned concealed carry would be the purpose we were discussing or talking about. But that's the other thing. A lot of folks will say, what gun should I get? But then they don't really specify what are they getting it for. You getting it for home defense? You getting it for concealed carry? Both. So you got to kind of take those factors in consideration. Because if you're looking for something for home defense, the size of the gun's not an issue. If it's only going to be home defense, you know what I mean? So, like for example, I have a Glock 21. It's a pretty large Glock, but I only leave it on my nightstand. I don't ever carry it. It's pretty big for concealed carry. Some police officers carry it, but they're not concealing it. They're on the outside of the gear. But for a person who's looking for just everyday concealed carry, it's way too big. So you got to take that in consideration too. What are you going to use it for?
So I have another question. So I come on here. I got lots of questions.
Right? Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
bring them.
So for concealed carry, so like I said, this one carries 13 rounds. It holds 13 rounds or whatever, and I'll find, especially like summertime or whatever, it gets to be heavy, right? So people don't realize. Listen, once you add that ammo into it, you adding weight to it. You got to figure out. And so I've always heard you got to dress for the gun, that you're going to carry, right? So my next thing I'm looking to say, hey, look, I need something that's going to be lighter, maybe a single stack that I can just, conceal a little easier, just forget it's there, whatever. Any suggestions on something like?
He froze.
There you go.
So there are a lot of what they call them micro guns out there. 9mm. You got the Sig P365.
It's one on my list to look at.
You have the Ruger LCP9. You have, there's all kinds of. Glock makes a Glock 42, 43.
Springfield
Hellcat. There are almost every manufacturer makes a micro gun now, because it was the big thing a couple years ago when Sig first came out with its P365 and everybody else followed. So you'll be able to find pretty much anything that you want and that you carry. Some people, and like I said, they all shoot similar, but they shoot different, because I will tell you, I have a 365 and I had a Hellcat, but I don't have it anymore because the recoil on it was just so much. I didn't want to carry it. I had a baby Glock that was just as small as a Glock 42, but it was a 357 Sig, and it hurt my fingers to shoot. You know what I'm saying? So I had to change that up. So it just depends on, like I said, whenever you go and you just ask them about those micro guns, and you'll be able to find something, because that 365 carries 12 plus 1, which is 13.
Yeah. And you want to make sure too you get a good holster. That also makes a big difference too. If you get a good holster that fits.
LeeMack done brought out the book. He done brought out the book.
Hey, look, I gotta get my notes.
Listen, when you bring out that book, he not serious, boy.
I'll be playing around, boy. Hey, look.
Yeah, no doubt.
I got a question. So I was at a smoke shop, and a guy was asking me a lot about smoking cigars. One of the questions he asked is, how do you determine what cut you're going to put on your cigar? Because I love a V cut. And I cut a lot of my cigars with V cuts, but I found that every cigar don't smoke good with a V cut. So how do you determine what kind of cut you're going to put on your cigar?
You have to determine what works for you. So I tease people all the time, right? And I'll say, shout out to my nephew, Cigar Head Fred. He used to say all the time, V cut is the way, right. People love the V cut, right? I'm not a V cut guy, but I will tell you, if I'm going to do a V cut, I like some of the cutters that have a shallow V cut.
Shallow V cut. That's what I love. Shallow.
Shout out to my sister, LaTanya H. She's on here. She likes a V cut. That's what she likes or whatever. Right. So you do what you like. But I agree with you. Every cigar doesn't smoke the same with the same cut. So you got to really try, just like those guns, you got to try the cigar. You got to try the different cuts, and you have to see what you like. My sister Hyacinth over in Spain, she likes a tighter draw. So anything, say like if she's doing a V cut, deep V or whatever, and it opens it up and makes it very loose, for her, it's not so good. For me, I like my draw to be nice and easy, and I find to me, it tastes better with an easier draw. That's not going to necessarily be the same for you. Some people like a punch. But the one thing you should learn how to do is how to cut a cigar properly, right? This one is kind of crooked or whatever. It's kind of crooked on the head or whatever. But I see all the time, and it just kind of annoys me. I never tell people how to smoke your cigar, but you'll watch these people on these Facebook groups, right? And they'll cut the cigar, and it'll be cut way down here.
Yeah.
And I had a guy in the lounge once say to me, and I only said something to him after he asked about it. He says, it keeps unraveling. So if you study and you understand how a cigar is made, if you cut it that far down, there's no glue up there. Right. So it's probably going to unravel on you. So what cut works best for you? Only you can answer that.
I don't use, on this one, I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but on this one, I just, I use a pocket knife.
I do that too.
Just so I don't go under under that last cap. You know what I'm saying? So that's usually what I do is I use a pocket knife on all my straight cuts. I use a pocket knife, and then a V cut. I do a shallow V cut on my V cuts. But like I said, on some cigars like that Plasencia, it does not smoke well with a V cut.
Right.
But And same thing with a Liga Privada, doesn't smoke well with a V cut, but some of the other cigars do. So I was just wondering, like, what would you say? How do you look for? And it's kind of like, you know, trial and error, basically what you're telling me.
So I didn't know that. I didn't know that all cigars in smoke is good with a V cut. I didn't know that made a difference. I typically will go with a V cut. Once in a while, I'll do a punch cut. For some reason, I do not like straight cuts. I don't know why. I really can't put my finger on it, but I never get the straight cut if I can help it. But I like the V cut, and if I don't get that, I go with the punch. Y'all didn't mention the punch at all. Y'all must not like the punch. Must not be no good for you.
Every time, almost a lot of times when I use a punch, I get tar buildup. For some reason, I don't know if it's because I'm smoking it too fast, but it seems like whenever I do a punch, I get more tar buildup on the end of my cigar than anything.
Tar buildup is an issue with punch cuts. I experienced that as well. But what I'll do with if I'm going with a punch, and I rarely go with it, but if I'm going with it, I tend to I'll grab my perfect draw out, and in the middle of that, I'll go into it, pull out, so I have a nice open draw with that punch. And so what you'll find out with the punch, if you have a nice open draw, you shouldn't get that tar buildup. But that, because what happens when they roll the cigars, the head of it, you've got tobacco leaves on the end, and sometimes they fold over. So if you're just taking that little bit off from the top with the punch, sometimes you'll have that leaf that's still there and it's blocking up the flow. And if you don't notice it as you're smoking it, the tar builds up behind that leaf.
I got you.
I got it. Man, y'all taking me to school. I did not know that.
Yep.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
So
I see. Go ahead.
Prentice Perry, you're correct, man. A concealed carry, any gun can be carried for anything. All he was saying was a full-size gun is not as easily concealable as a mid-size or a baby or a micro or something like that. That's all he's saying. But yeah, any gun can do the job. You can carry a full-size gun concealed. It's just going to be easier for people to know you're carrying a gun because it's going to print. You know, like me, I'm a big guy. I carry a full-size gun concealed all the time and nobody even notices. But you know, somebody like Greyman who need to, you know, pick his weight up or something like that, you know, he might have a hard time. You know what I'm saying?
Pick his weight up. I hear you. I actually need to slim my weight down a little bit. That's another video.
Right.
But yeah, he asked about if you can conceal carry, can it do the job at home? Absolutely. Absolutely. And some people do that too. They'll say, you know what? I'm only buying one gun.
Right.
I need that gun to do both jobs. I need it to be my EDC, my everyday carry concealed gun. And then I also need it for home defense. I'm just not going to invest in multiple guns.
You see, that's why I said what I said about the Kimber. I wish it wouldn't have been my first gun because I tell everybody, your first gun needs to be a multi-purpose gun. You want it to have a rail on it for a light, just in case you want to carry a light. It needs to be concealable, and you want it to be able to do, you know, the job at home. That Kimber that I got didn't have a rail for a light. And it was a full-size gun. So I really could only carry it. When I carried it, it could be concealed, but it was a full size without a light on it and all that stuff. And you know, I'm a big proponent of, you know, a gun is like a toolbox. All the tools you can put on it is going to help you do the job a lot easier. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying rely on those tools, but the more tools you have on it, the easier the job can be. You know what I'm saying? So that's usually what I tell people when it comes to their first guns.
Yeah, no doubt. Santi had a good question. I'm gonna put it up here. She asked, "What makes a good smoke lounge?" And I think LeeMack touched on that. That's a real good question. As a matter of fact, that was one of the questions I was looking for tonight. I wanted to ask y'all about that in your experience with smoke lounges. Can I tell my smoke lounge story first?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Okay,
man.
You're the host, man. It's your show.
That's right.
So I'm gonna start that off. So for me, like I told y'all, the very first time I smoked a cigar was in Pittsburgh. In Pittsburgh, Rocky Patel has a Burn by Rocky Patel lounge. And he has about 5 of them, like Atlanta, Florida, a few other places. But that was my first experience in any type of cigar lounge, smoking any type of cigar, which I don't know, I almost feel like it spoiled me in a sense because when I went in there, I was just really about the atmosphere in there, because Burn by Rocky Patel isn't like an average, or what I considered, or what I saw as an average, typical smoking cigar lounge. It's almost like a club / cigar lounge. So you go in there, the DJ's cranking, the music is as loud as it would be if you was at a club. The bars is bumping. They got the humidor in the back. I mean, once in a while, people getting up dancing like it's a whole nother atmosphere than what I saw as a cigar lounge. So when I went there, I was like, yo, this is, there was people, I think that the average age in there was maybe late 20s, all the way down to whatever. And it was just a range of people in there, different people, different races, different ethnicities, just a bunch of different people and ages. And I like the spot now. I go there a lot now. So for me, that was my experience. I've never, in this year's time that I've been smoking a cigar, I've never yet to go to, I don't know, and correct me if I'm wrong by saying, a more traditional cigar lounge. Now, like I said, there's one, I got a lot of folks, a lot of family in Georgia. There's one in Atlanta. And then Cam Newton also has one in Atlanta too, that when I go visit, I'm gonna have to hit it up, called Fellowship. So it seems like it's the same kind of atmosphere, very similar to like a Burn. What do y'all think about that?
So it really depends on what you're looking for, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I used to do a lot of travel. I worked for the Navy. I worked for the Army. So every town that I would get to, the first thing I would do is look up cigar lounge. So if I'm there for a week, I'm gonna visit as many as I can. So for me, it's just me. I'm a friendly guy. I walk in. I don't really care. I could walk into a KKK rally and be like, "Hey, brothers, how y'all doing?" Whatever. Right? So it all depends on your reception. So if you walk in and you feel like you are welcome, and the people speak to you, and hey, listen, how can we help you out? What this, that, whatever. Welcome to our lounge. Hey, I'm here from out of town. Come on in. You feel comfortable there. So that is, to me, been my traditional cigar lounge experience. But there are some, I want to call it like a members only type lounge, where it used to be people that didn't quite look like the three brothers on the stage here. You walk in and it'd be like, why are you here? This is not for you. So you don't feel welcome. But I've never really been to a lounge where I feel unwelcome. That's me as a Black male. As a female, it's different, right? So the females have to come into a lounge, and there are a lot of women that are smoking now. And when I say smoking, they're not smoking to go out there and try to find a guy. They're like serious cigar smokers. They like a stick just like we like a stick. They are serious cigar smokers, so they are in there. So they will also do that same thing. When you walk into a lounge, how do I feel when I walk into a lounge? I work at a lounge here in Elkton, Maryland. And so I had a lady call one time, and she called me up and she says, listen, I'm looking. She was asking questions about the lounge. She said, is this lounge single female friendly? That was her question. I'm a single female. I'm coming in. Is a single female friendly? I told her, listen, it is. We are like a big family here. But let me just assure you, when you come in, I will make sure that your experience will be not a problem. If you have any problems, you come see me, but I'm going to head off the problems before it becomes a problem. Right. So you have to feel comfortable. Now, is every cigar lounge going to be like the Burn Lounge? No, we have one that's like that. It's like a club, and people go there. I got a brother, he's a detective. And for him, he's like, that ain't my type of lounge. He walks in, he's like, I just kicked in this dude's door, early this morning. Now I come there, I see him and his family. I don't want to hang out with these same people. That same element, that ain't for me. So he goes someplace else. So every lounge is not for every person. You really have to go find the lounge that fits you, and then support the lounge that fits you. If that's the lounge that fits you, I always say, I knew a lady that she's like to gamble. And she would say, I want to keep the doors open. So every once in a while, I got to go down here and I got to support. So same thing with the lounge. If you have a lounge that you like, you got to go down there. You got to buy. We all want the best price. Go down there, support your lounge, spend some money down there, spend some time or not. That's my opinion on it.
Okay.
So where I'm at is I put lounges in 3 different categories. All right. So you got your traditional lounge. That's more of the barbershop feel for me, where you go in there, you know, the guys and girls are talking and all they're doing is talking about life. You know what I'm saying? All mixtures of people. Those are the kind of cigar lounges that I really, really like. I like those laid back, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to impress anybody, not trying to impress anybody, and we're just there to smoke and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Then you have your non-traditional cigar lounge. And those what I say are the ones that they do the live music, the loud music, but they still have a focus on cigars. You know what I'm saying? You still have the big humidor, you still have the everybody in there smoking and stuff like that. And then you have the ones that are, they call themselves lounges, but like you said, it's like more of a like nightclub kind of feel where everybody's trying to hook up and stuff. And you can tell there's not a focus on cigars because you can tell what they got in their humidor. It's like they're just saying they're a cigar lounge, but they got you know cigars in the humidor, but it's not a focus. You know what I'm saying? And those are the ones I really try to steer from. And just like you said, LeeMack, with your friend that's a police officer, man. I'm the same way. I go in there and I feel like I'm dealing with the same ones I deal on the street. And I just don't like that atmosphere. That's why I don't really go to those kind of lounges. Now, if I'm looking to try to bring somebody back home, that might be where I go. But you know, as far as just trying to chill and smoke my cigar and just chill out, I steer away from those.
So I think Burn, in my opinion, and the one in Pittsburgh at least, is kind of in between there. It's kind of like, it's not like everybody in there, because there's a lot of people that's coming with their wives, or you know, a couple. There might be 3 or 4 couples together, so it's a real nice atmosphere. But I'm gonna try some of the more traditional lounges soon.
That's good, man. That's good.
Now, let me ask you this question, because I know some people go to those lounges and they make their purchases there. Is that, where do y'all purchase y'all cigars from most of the time? Do you go to the lounge, or I know there's, you know, Cigar Biz, there's a whole bunch of different clubs online. Where do y'all typically get? JR, I know both of y'all did videos on JR runs. So,
and listen, I'm all over the place. I am tied in tight with BlackLionLuxuries.com. They're out in Harrisburg. They have a lounge. It's a beer store. They got a hell of a selection out there. They have hell of a great prices. That's where I buy a lot of my online stuff. But I also go around because it depends. Certain people have stuff that you can't find. I'm a small batch in Corona, Atlantic up here in PA. I don't really buy too much from Famous and CI anymore because they don't sell what I typically smoke, but I buy there. I just came from the lounge tonight. We had Rami Daco was there. Rami is there from General Cigar. We had some Amazon basins that he brought out for the event. I said, I'm going in here. I'm bringing my own cigars. I'm a member. I paid my membership. I'm not buying anything. I ended up buying cigars. Why? Because I'm supporting the lounge.
Right. So for me, I go to JR Cigars when I'm trying to do a big run. You know, JR's is probably 30 minutes from me. So I go in there and I look at the clearance, and they have great deals on clearance stuff that, you know, you can get there. And that's usually when I'm trying to buy 3 or 4 boxes of cigars, I'll go there. Nice. If I ever go to a lounge, I never I never take my own cigars to a lounge. I've always told myself, if I'm going to smoke at a lounge, because lounges here in North Carolina, it's not like a membership kind of thing. If they sell alcohol there, you have to do a yearly membership, which they usually charge $10 for, and that's just because of the law. But if they don't, you just give a smoking fee, which is somewhere between $2 and $5 for the day. But I've told myself, if I go to a lounge to support them, I'm going to buy 2 or 3 sticks and smoke them there, and whatever I have left over, I'll bring back home. But I never take my own sticks to a cigar lounge just to support them.
That's kind of how I feel. I feel like if I go somewhere and smoke, I want to buy it from them.
Right.
You know what I mean? To give them that business and keep them going.
Now there is a cigar lounge that I was a member of, and the yearly membership was like $400, and I would take my own sticks in. But you know, as far as me just going there and smoking for the day or something like that, I usually just buy from them.
What about Cigar Biz?
Cigar Biz is like crack.
Yes. Boy, them 5-packs be coming through, boy.
Boy, and then once you get on there and you order something, so now you got something that you have it set up to ship once a week. You're like, well, I done paid the shipping on it. Let me see what else I can do. Then I would go and I would look at the closing soon, what's closing before my stuff ships. The free fall can be addictive.
Oh my God.
That's that free fall keeps going down, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna wait. Oh shit, it went back up.
Especially if you're checking like 5 different websites and everything's higher than what the free fall is. I'm like, hey, I'm getting this deal.
It's crazy. I'm gonna tell you what stopped me from Cigar Bid though. Maryland is like one of these crazy tax states. So not only now do we have to pay tax, but there's an excise tax, which is more than the tax. So by the time I pay all of that on Cigar Bid, it's not worth it for me. But in the state where they don't charge that, that's like crack. I was on Cigar Bid when I was buying, especially when I was building up my collection. And then what it allows you to do, you can buy singles on Cigar Bid. So you're like, all right, give me one of these, one of those. I bought an AFR, I think it's AFR 25. I was like, I didn't know nothing about it. It was a $25 cigar. I forget what I paid for it. It wasn't a lot. I was like, damn, that's a good cigar. So you get to discover a lot of stuff as well. So I like Cigar Bid. Somebody like you that's new, I might have smoked everything that's on Cigar Bid. To you, it's new. So I would say, yeah, that's good. Go try it. See what you like. See if you like it. And the most important thing for me is, you see, I had the notebook, right?
Yeah.
You got to take notes and say, what do you like? What don't you like? Because you don't
forget. Yeah.
You forget. And then you might find that you've got a love for cigars from one country versus another country. You might find that you have a love for cigars from one manufacturer versus another manufacturer. So if I say, like, I like 2 or 3 Aganorsa cigars, they have a new cigar coming out. Okay, I might buy that sight unseen because I like 2 or 3 of their others. So, but your notes is what helps you to do that. I got notebooks back here with all of my stuff, because that was one of the reasons why I started doing the reviews as well, because I couldn't remember from one cigar to the next what I thought about it. A friend of mine asked me, well, what did you think about the Sweet Jane? I said, I smoked it. I did a review. I don't remember. I got to go back and watch my review and see what I thought about it.
Yeah, that's a good point, because actually tonight I got 2. I never smoked Undercrown yet. As you can see, I'm a Drew Estates fan as of yet. Right. But I never.
Drew Estates has so much in the industry anyway. You can't get away from it. You know what I'm saying? So
yep.
And don't forget the other stuff that they make, the Hoya de Nicaragua and other brands, Java, other stuff that they make that's not just Drew Estate stuff.
Right. Well, I was like I said, I never smoked Undercrown yet, but I got it in my humidor. I got the Undercrown, the regular original Undercrown, and then I got an Undercrown 10. Never smoked either one of them. I was going to smoke the Undercrown tonight, but then I was like, I might not smoke for a little while. I wanted to smoke the Undercrown and the 10 close together. And I know I'm not going to remember how to compare which one I like better. So that's why I went with the Enclave.
Well, see,
so that's a good point.
Cigar Bid, like I said, Cigar Bid is my go-to when I'm looking for cigars like that Enclave. They usually have that Enclave marked down, like way down from where you can get it any other site. So I usually get that Enclave from there. But like LeeMack said, I've been smoking for a while too, and I started off on Cigar Bid. That was one of the things I started off on. It's like I've smoked a lot of things that they do on there. So if I'm not looking for an actual a specific cigar, then I won't go to Cigar Bid. I'll just I'll go and look for something else.
And the other thing too is, I tell people all the time, do your Googles, right? If you do your Googles, you can find, and if you're smart and look, you can find things that people say you can't find. When people were looking for Supreme Leaf, I had all the Supreme Leafs I need. I had people come to me and say, hey, listen, I can't find the Supreme Leaf. Go out and Google. I found a little shop down in North Carolina that I had never heard of. I wasn't sure if this is a real site or a scam site. I got on the phone and I called the dude. Hey, look, man, what's up with this? If I feel, I can tell whether you scamming me or you're not.
Right.
Got my box of Supreme Leafs. I'll send out to my brothers. I'll send out to my patrons. Hey, look, if you're looking for it, this is what it is. So you can look for the best price, but do your Google. So if somebody's got a price that is good for you, That's it. Again, Latanya just hooked up a deal on some Melanios that she likes, right? Might have been a wrong price, might have been, who knows. But again, by knowing where to go, you go there, you keep your eye on it. When you see it, you pull the trigger, you stock up.
Right. Patience Perry said, not being a smoker, what are you liking to smell or taste of the cigar?
No, that's
a loaded question right there. Right?
That's a loaded question. So I always like this drop they play on Two Guys Smoke Shop. The guy's like, it tastes like smoke, you fucking moron. It tastes like smoke. So there's some people that all they taste is smoke. They don't taste nothing else. It looks good. All they taste is smoke. You got to really pay attention to a cigar to say, what do you taste? Other than an infused cigar, there are going to be, not like you say, oh, this has got notes of vanilla, it's got black pepper, white pepper. I don't know black pepper from white pepper, whatever.
Right.
So what I suggest to people is, so if you cook, like Janice was on here earlier, she's a chef, right? She knows what the different spices taste like when you cook. I always tell people, go down to your Wegmans or your store, whatever. If I'm telling you that I'm getting a hint of cinnamon, you need to smell cinnamon. You need to taste cinnamon. See how that cinnamon has a little spiciness to it. Ginger has a spice that's different than cinnamon. Black pepper has a spice that's different. Red pepper has a spice that's different. So you really have to pay attention to it to see what it is you get. We're sitting here, we're talking, we're smoking. I'm just smoking a cigar. I don't know what I taste, right? It just tastes like cigar, right? But when I'm doing a review, I'm really paying attention. And you have to learn how to retrohale. People say, I don't retrohale. Somebody was on his Santee said, I got to stop inhaling. You don't want to inhale.
You don't want to inhale.
But retrohaling will bring out, you will smoke a cigar and it'll taste a certain way. You might taste kind of a sweetness, taste like a little bit of leaves. I talk about when we were kids and we were Boy Scouts and we'd be out in the woods and rolling up leaves and we smoking leaves off of the trees. This is what the cigar reminds me of. So I know what that is. It's memories. That's what it is. Right. It's also based on what you smell. So when you smell a cigar, what does it smell like? So you can taste a whole range of flavors. Now, these people that will go out there and tell you, oh, I'm getting hints of like blueberry pie with sugar crumbles and all that. They're really out on a limb. But you got to remember, you have basic taste. You've got like sweet, sour, I forget what the other, like bitter. Spicy, bitter. So if you can break it up into those things, then you go into subgroups. And I also say like Famous Smoke Shop has got a flavor wheel. A lot of people have flavor wheels, right? So pull that flavor wheel out. So if you're getting spice, look at the flavor wheel in the spice section and see, well, what kind of spice is it? If you're getting sweet, what kind of sweet is it? If you're getting earth or mineral, what kind of earth or mineral is it? And then that's the same thing with your notes. I talked about the Dominican twang a lot of times, and it's like the Dominican minerality that comes from under-fermented Ligero. I don't know that right up front. It took a lot of years to remember that that's why I was getting that taste. You got a lot of different flavors on a cigar if you pay attention. But the most important part is you sit down, you smoke your cigar, you relax, you got an hour. Maybe you don't taste anything. And who cares? As long as you relax.
That's what I found to be the biggest piece is that relaxation that comes with it.
And see, a lot of people like when a lot of people say all they taste is smoke is what they're not realizing is they're puffing on the cigar and trying to taste that and all that smoke in your mouth. You're not letting any other smoke go out. It's usually at the last little bit of smoke you have in your mouth or and that's what you retrohale. You don't try to retrohale that whole puff. You try to get a little bit, leave a little bit in your mouth. Leave a little bit back there in the back of your throat and retrohale that, and that's what's going to give you the taste. You know how like you eat something or you drink something, and oh man, this has an aftertaste. Right. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for the aftertaste. You're not looking for the actual taste because the actual taste is smoke. The aftertaste is what you're looking for when it comes to the cigar.
That's it. Like this one, when I'm smoking, I just did a retrohale and thought about it, and man, it's got a nice nutty taste, right? So I go nutty. Well, it's a whole lot of different type of nuts. A walnut tastes different than a peanut than a cashew. So when you start realizing and recognizing, it's like, yeah, man, I really like that taste. Little touch of pepper or whatever, but then it goes to your palate, right? My brother, he wants that power. He wants that burn. It's like he wants it to almost just make his face do like this when he retrohales, right? That's what he loves. Somebody else might smoke that and say, I don't like spice at all. So why would I do that? Why would I smoke that cigar? It's not for you.
Right.
Also, like if anybody has followed me, you know I don't know the nomenclature or what words to say. I just know it tastes good. You know what I'm saying? Like a little bit of Grey Poupon that don't come to me. You know, I'm not like that. If I taste something, if it's sweet, it's sweet. If it's good, it's good. Just take my word on it, because when I'm reviewing a cigar, it's what I like.
Right.
You might get something totally different. So don't come at me and say, it don't taste like that. It tastes like this. The only thing that I can honestly say that I really taste something I can identify was the placencia. And I tasted dark chocolate in that placencia. And a lot of people agreed with me when I said that. And it was like, man, that was the first cigar that I could actually retrohale and actually identify what I'm actually tasting. You know, but just like LeeMack said, it's usually just spicy or bitter or anything like that. And if I like that, that's coming out of it. You know what I'm saying? From that point.
Hey, and as C-Cam said, it's hard for him to retro on point. Like just some people, like my partner Mark, he can't retro on just on demand. I can do it all the time. My brother Cowboy out in St. Louis, he retrohales like a boss. Jess from Cigar Prop, she retrohales like a boss. I mean, big plumes of smoke, really can do it. But you don't have to do that. Really, the trick is, like you said, you're going to blow most of that smoke out of your mouth and retro that last little bit, especially when you're first learning. You're just going to get a little bit of smoke out your mouth, and you'll say, and you'll notice, you'll say, oh, I taste something different.
Yep.
Urban Gun Reviews, that was a good question. He said, what is the retrohale? So retrohale is when you bring the smoke in and you blow the smoke out your nose. That's what a retrohale is.
And break down a little bit for other folks that might not know, what's the benefit of that?
So when you're retrohaling, I said earlier that what you taste is based on what you smell. So if you ever had a cold and your nose is stuffed up and you notice you can't smell anything, you also typically can't taste anything. So what you taste is based on what you smell. So when you're retrohaling, you're blowing the smoke through your sinus cavity, and you're now getting that smell and the taste. And you will notice when you retrohale a cigar. I'll have some cigars that I'm reviewing that I'm like, this don't taste like nothing. It's terrible. It's just all right. It's average or whatever. And I'll retrohale it and I'll go, if you don't retrohale, you're missing the whole experience.
I mean, it's just like wine tasting. You see those snobs when they wine taste, they take that big old smell of that glass and they're like, oh, berries and fruits and stuff like that. It's the same thing. You're not going to actually get the true taste unless it goes through your nasal passage first.
That's a good question, Urban. Hey, LeeMack, you have some questions about firearms. I got one for you.
Before you go to firearms,
go ahead.
I want to just pull one thing out here, right? So this is not for everybody, but this is something that I did to try to get more in tune to the smell. So this was like a kit, right? So this kit has got all of these different fragrances in here, right? Sandalwood, tree moss, medicinal, leather, bread, corn, tobacco, prune. So when I'm trying to really develop my palate and see what is it that I'm really tasting or smelling, so I'll open one of these up and I'll smell it. And I go, oh, number 12.
Pull it out in his review too. He'll pull it out during the
dried fig, you know. So I go, okay, so that's what a dried fig smells like. So, all right, go ahead there, Gray Man. Your show, baby.
Wow, that's a science right there.
He's pulled that out during the actual video before. I've seen him pull that out a couple
times. I haven't seen that. Okay. Now, my question to you, because I know you have some questions on firearms, just being a person that's not really into guns, like how Diesel and I are, addicts, fanatics, whatever you want to call us.
we got a sickness, man.
Yeah, we do. We really got a sickness. How often do you get to the range?
Ooh, that's
Because that's key right there. Getting to the range and shooting the gun.
So that's a good question, right? So and I have a follow-up question to that, to my answer, right? With ammo being short as it is, I'm sure like me, you guys have stocked up on ammo so you can get to the range whenever you want to. I don't get to the range as often as I do. In the military, we always had to qualify once a year, so at least try to go down once a year. So I at least try to make it down once a year to say, hey, listen, I know what this firearm is like, and I know what I could do with it. I know that I can hit at least something if I had to, right? You have to get to the range. You have to shoot your weapon. You have to. What I learned also as well, what I was taught, that not only the range ammo, hey, listen, your self-defense ammo, you also got to run that through your weapon as well. Right. I don't know if it's different or not, but you got to run that through your weapon, see how it reacts. So it's important for you to go to the range as much as you can, because just having the firearm and carrying the firearm is not going to do you any good if you have to use the firearm, because muscle memory is very important. How you carry your firearm, what you're gonna do. Hey, listen, I can pull it out or whatever. Oh shit, the safety is on. Do I carry it with the safety on? One in the chamber, not in the chamber. I need to know how my gun is going to react when I need it, if I ever need it. Hopefully, you never need it, right?
Right.
So my question, follow-up question back to you is your opinion on some of the laser dry fire training type of devices. What's your thoughts on those?
So for me, I don't have any experience with any. That's funny that you asked that, because a good friend of mine who lives out in California, who's in law enforcement, just sent me a link to one. I think it's called the Matrix X.
Yep.
Have you heard of that?
I have.
He uses that, and he said it's good. He said you won't be sorry if you get it. So I'm definitely going to look into it. He said it's good for dry firing. It's called the Mantis. That's what it's called. The Mantis.
I have one of those in my cart on their website. I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet.
Okay. So he highly recommends it. So I'm definitely going to jump on it. I know there's a number of different ones out there, but he recommended that particular one. So I think I'm gonna try that one. I don't know if Diesel, if you had any experience with any of that.
I've had experience with them, but I will say there are other ways to train, and you will get just as good training without that. So if you have the money for it, yes, but I think it is kind of a waste of money. I'm not going to talk junk about it, because like I said, it does work, but there are other things. I think it's a lazy way. You get what I'm saying? Because dry firing alone will help you with shooting. If you can't get to a range, if you dry fire every day and go once a year, you will be good at the range still. With that being added, instead of you using a laser, and I tell people, let's just go the old school way, because this is how they used to do it in the old school way. Put a penny on the front of that sight and pull and dry fire that gun and make sure that penny doesn't move. That's the same thing as a laser. It's just different ways of doing it. It's a lot cheaper, you know what I'm saying? And it's one of those things that it puts you at the point of handling that gun, bringing it up, making your picture, getting your picture together, and keeping that penny on there instead of the laser. Only thing the laser really does is trigger manipulation. You know what I'm saying? With the penny, you got to do everything to keep that penny up there and pull that trigger. So I think it's a little bit better using a penny on your front sight than it is a laser. And that's what I tell people, man. Just go home and dry fire. Don't worry about these lasers. Don't worry about all that other stuff. Dry fire your weapon. And once you get to the point where you can use that penny, and you will be good.
Now, from what I understand with that Mantis, from what I saw, I looked at the little video, it's supposed to give you like all this feedback. Like I think it links it to your phone, and it gives you suggestions for whatever you did wrong, like a whole bunch of different things. It seemed pretty advanced.
Well, see, the thing about the Mantis, it tells you if you're moving the gun when you pull that trigger. It's trigger manipulation. It just helps you with trigger manipulation. Same thing with the penny. If that penny doesn't move or doesn't fall off, you're going to be on target. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like the same concept. Even though you're not having something on screen telling you you're doing this, you still have that penny. If that penny's still there, you know you're not moving the gun when you pull that trigger.
Right.
So it's kind of like the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, they did it old school. That's the old school way. That's the way I was trained. That got me to a point where I could start winning these gun competitions and stuff like that, because I was using that. I was doing that at least 3 or 4 times a week. And I wasn't even going to a range because I didn't have the ammunition.
Right.
But even though I didn't go to the range, every time I went to the range, I scored that 100. I made that first place in the competition because I was dry firing and using that penny. You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen or heard anybody that has used that Mantis and they've told me that was the end all to be all. It is a good product. I wouldn't say that it's not a good product. It does help you with shooting, but just like the old school way, it helps you as well.
Right. Right. So you said if you got that extra cash and you want to spend it,
yeah,
you know,
oh yeah,
up to you. Yep, I hear that.
It's not a need to have. That's basically
right. And I know ammo is tight, man, but I try to like grab a little bit here and there at least once in a while to get to the range and shoot, just to kind of, because I need that feel. And here we go back to us again, because that's our passion. That's what we do. I'm probably going to spend a little bit of extra money where somebody whose passion isn't. Like LeeMack, you might buy a cigar, $30 cigar, and somebody else going to be like, when I bought that Ferris Pharaoh Flying Pig and it was $21, I was like, hold up, we going over my threshold here.
right.
You know what I mean?
It's well worth it though. Well worth
that's what I hear.
Yeah,
and
I
listen,
mean, just like go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Just like that Placencia, man. That's an expensive cigar too, man. Hey, listen, I got a deal. I just got to throw this out there. I bought a box of Placencias for $110. Just putting that out there.
Oh yeah.
Hey, listen, I bought 2 boxes. I think it was $185. So it was a good cigar. I didn't want to like it. Expensive is not necessarily always good in cigars, but I recently was on with Black Lion a Zoom call with Sean Williams, and we smoked that $120 Spectre. And I would tell you, I said, there's no cigar that's ever going to be worth $120. Now, do I think it's worth $120? It was a damn good cigar. I bought more. It was so good. I told Sean, I was like, look, man, I wanted to hate this cigar, but it was just, and when he explained what it was, a lot of it is marketing, a lot of it is packaging, that's a part of it. But what is made up of that cigar, it's just like bourbons and any type of whiskey that you drink. You can take a 3-year-old bourbon and drink it. It's drinkable, but it's just not going to be the same as a 12-year-old, the 15-year-old, the 18-year-old. There's just something about it. And even say like a 12 or 15, 18, depends on where that barrel was in the house. So now you got to pay for that. So with that Spectre, they went and they just pulled out all the stops and got the best stuff. It's never going to be available again. It's one of those things that if you had it and you smoke it, you could say, I had it, I tried it, I smoked it, it was good. Is it a cigar for everybody? No, because I got people that don't want to spend $10 for a cigar, let alone $120.
Right.
So wait a minute, LeeMack. So we talking about $110, not for a box of them.
No, one
but
cigar.
for one.
Yeah,
that's.
Let me ask you this though, LeeMack. Have you seen with the cigars, the more expensive cigar doesn't really say that it's going to be a good cigar, but you're paying for consistency with that cigar more than anything. So if you buy a box of that where like this, the Placencias, a normal price for a box of 10 of Placencias is almost around $200.
Right.
But every one of those cigars are going to smoke well. They're going to stay lit. They're not going to go out and stuff like that. Compared to a 25 box of cigars that's $100. That you might have 1 or 2 that might not smoke well.
Right.
But you can buy an $8 cigar that's consistent.
Right.
I will tell you that all day long you can buy a Perdomo cigar. Whether you think about Perdomo, you like it, you hate it, it's going to be consistent. You could buy an $8-10 Drew Estate. Great construction always, no matter what it is. So it can be there. So the expensive price doesn't necessarily mean that it's a better cigar. I'll give you an example. The Cohiba Bejique 56 Cuban cigar. Great cigar. We used to smoke those all day long for $35. I think they're about $200 now, right? It's a great cigar. But is it worth that price? No. But are there some cigars that are worth the price that I will pay for it every day? I talk about Atabey. I talk about Byron, $35 cigars. Will I pay $35 every time I go to buy Atabey or Byron? Absolutely. Is it going to be a great experience for me every time? Absolutely.
Sure, I need to try those two because I haven't had those. Where's my
Yeah.
notepad?
Hey,
Where's
listen,
my
I'm gonna
notepad?
tell you the two. In fact, I did a review on the Byron from Corona Cigar. They had their anniversary cigar by Byron. They had one by Atabey. I did a review on the Byron. Great cigar. I'd buy that every time. Every time. If I had the money, I mean, I'd buy boxes of them. I can't afford boxes of them, but great cigars. Atabey, great cigars.
Atabey and Byron. All right.
Yeah, I'm not even familiar with those two.
I'm not.
Oh yeah, that. Hey, listen, that's the. Hey, listen, I need to treat myself. I need to get something that's special, a special occasion. Any day could be a special occasion. You want to smoke something good? Try one of those cigars. They are not going to be strong cigars, but when I talk about flavors, smooth, well blended, just like a nice stew that grandma used to make or whatever, just everything, you just like enjoy it.
Now you say that. Would you suggest somebody that does not know how to retrohale to buy one of those cigars?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, without a doubt, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now, is it going to be a cigar that, hey, listen, this is your first cigar and you're going to smoke it? Is that good for your first cigar? I would say no.
Right.
Because you haven't been smoking. You don't even know what you're doing at this point. But you've been smoking a while, Gray Man. You could get one of those. You'd be like, okay, I see the difference between what my $8 cigar I've been smoking and this $35 Atabey.
Right.
See, I thought I was doing something with the Plasencia Hexagon. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a $25 cigar. I thought I was doing something with that.
And they have an Atabey. In fact, I think about $25 over at Black Lion. They have one that's $25. So I would say, hey, listen, it's a smaller cigar. It's not going to be as big as the Plasencia, but smoke it and compare it to say, is it worth your $25?
Right.
Maybe it is, maybe it's not, you know? Right. Yo, shout out to the Leaf Legend #1, my brother Octavius Green in the house. Shout out to you from Philadelphia.
What's going on, Octavius?
City of brotherly love. That's my brother right there. I love that brother right there. I met him at Cigar Fest. I was driving looking for a parking space. That brother said, I know you. And we've been close friends every time. My brother said, anything you need, Mac, I got you. You good in my city. Anything you need in my city, Ock always takes good care of me. So shout out to my brother Ock and the rest of the Leaf Legends from Philly.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. Let me ask y'all another one because I need some help along these lines. Humidors. So I just saw your video, LeeMack. You got the big one shipped into you. I saw, I think it was that same JR run where you showed yours diesel. I got a small humidor, like I think 100, maybe 50, 60, or 100 cigars. I don't even know how many, but I got about 10 in there right now.
Right.
So I'm trying to keep it at a steady, and I know the smaller one's probably a little bit more difficult to manage, but I'm trying to keep it at a steady 70% humidity.
What are you using?
So I use the beads that came with it and a solution that comes with it. It comes with two different solutions. One's for like the winter dry months and one's for like more like the summer months. So I keep the solution on those beads, which I just ordered some more recently because I ran out of them. But that's all that I use in there. When I first seasoned it, you had to like take this little cloth and put some of the solution on it, wipe down the cedar, you know, but it's not staying. It'll be 70, then it'll be 69, then it'll be 67, then it'll be 69.
Well, it's going to do that. It's going to do that. But LeeMack, Black Lion, they sell a Humi pack, and I can't remember the name of it, but there's two of them. The one that Black Lion sells, and what is that, LeeMack again?
It might be the Human Smart.
Human Smart, yeah. And then they got a Boveda pack. That's what I use, the Boveda packs. And I'm part of Black Lion Luxuries also. I use their Humi packs whenever I travel. I keep those in the bag and I seal it up, and it's good for a while in that bag. And I use that when I travel. But Boveda packs or that Humi pack from Black Lion, man, that'll keep you straight, bro.
Now, my humidor says not for use with Boveda packs. Ignore that.
Wow.
So let me ask you this question, right? So what are you measuring your humidity? What are you using to measure it?
Well, I'm assuming there's a it's the little face hydrometer.
With the little thing.
No, it's digital. It's digital.
Digital. Okay,
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
I'm about to say.
Yeah, it's digital.
LeeMack knows exactly what I'm about to say.
So let me put you up on game, right?
Uh-huh.
Did you calibrate that digital hygrometer?
No.
So you see what it says, but you don't know what it actually is. Okay. So go online and look up the salt test. Okay. So what you will do is I'm sure you could take it out. It probably slides out of the humidor, right?
Uh-huh.
This is what I use. I take a little top out of my water bottle, fill this up with salt, and then you'll put like drops of water into it until it gets to be like just about saturated with water and salt, right? It'll be kind of wet looking or whatever, right? You get a Ziploc bag, put this in there, put your hygrometer in there, seal it up, right? After about 2 days, your digital hygrometer should read 75. Okay. Whatever it reads, say it reads 77 or 74 or 73, whatever it is. Now you know how far off your hygrometer is, right? Take that note, and what I do is I take a permanent marker, and I'll write on the back +4, -4, whatever it is. So you'll know exactly what it is, right?
Okay.
So even though your thing is reading at 70, it could actually be 68. It could be 72. So what happens is a lot of times people are chasing a number and their hygrometer is not really reading a number. So that's the first thing you need to do, right? Like Diesel said, your humidity is going to change. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. What you're looking for is the average, right? So I use these. I have these GoV things in here. This is just one that just
about to say.
Yeah, they sent this to me. I bought this one. It was like $15 on Amazon. I stick it in there. I reviewed it, but I liked it so much. I bought 2 more for some of my other ones, right? It's got an app that goes on your phone, Bluetooth. And so it'll show you the high, the low, and the average. So that's what you're looking at, average. So if you're trying to keep it at 70, you want it to be on average at 70. When you open it, it's going to go down. When you close it, it might go up. When the heat goes up, it might go up. When it gets cold, it might go down. So that's the other thing. So don't worry about a particular number. You need to know what your average is. So
this is the GoV app right here.
That's it. I got it on my phone.
And
too,
you see, I got actually 3 of them. I have one in my refrigerator, my 2 refrigerators, and my little one. And like he said, it shows you, if you can see that. I don't know if you can see that, but it shows you an average. You see that blue line? That's kind of like the average of where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? Now, depending, like he said, depending on what you actually do, because the more you open your humidor, it's going to go up and down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the GoVs, I didn't have to calibrate mine. I just put them straight in there just to see how they were going to act. That first one I got, and it was on point, man. It kept it on point for me. And my thing about it is, a lot of people go off of what they want their stick to be, like a 69, 72 or whatever. But my thing is, I've tried all of them to see what actually smokes best, because some people that stay in North Carolina, cigars might smoke different than people that stay in the Arizona climate. You know what I'm saying? You want to see what humidity keeps your cigars the best that smoke for you. I don't tell anybody when they're first smoking, just get a 69 or just try out all of them. Let your cigars get in there and get humidified or whatever, and then you smoke it and you see if that is how you like your cigar or not.
Right. Now, my stuff sits around 64, 65. Of course, for where I am in Maryland, I think they smoke better at 64, 65. The wetter they are, the more problems you may have with burning, keeping it lit. As it gets hot, you might have problems with mold, beetles hatching, or whatever the case. You get a hot day, it gets hot in your house or whatever, you have that problem. So at 64, I don't have that problem. Long-term storage, I like the lower. The other thing is, I would suggest that you might want to look into the Boveda packs, like Janice is saying. She's looking to go from Cigar Oasis to Boveda packs. I've got Cigar Oasis. I also have Boveda. I like the Boveda. So that little Audu unit that I have, I get the big Boveda. I throw it in there. Sometimes you put 2 or 3 of them. They are like stupid. You don't have to be smart. You just put it in. If it dries out, you put it in another one. So it's two-way. So if your thing is too high, it sucks humidity out. If it's too low, it puts humidity in. So it's two-way. So that's a good thing.
And you can recharge the Bovedas too. You can recharge
them. It doesn't take up much space. With your 100 count, you could just throw it in. It could sit right on top of your cigars, so it doesn't damage your cigars or whatever. It's easy. You don't have to buy that solution, the beads, and all that. Right. I started out with the beads. I actually did the from Cigar Obsession, talked about a cooler door. So once I got more than that 100, I had a couple of 100 counts, I had a cooler. And I'd get empty boxes from the cigar shop, and I throw them in the cigar box, put the boxes in the cooler with the beads. That's what I had at that point. And that worked, but then, we have a picnic. My wife said we need the cooler. And then I'm like, I got to take all my cigars out because we need the cooler or whatever. Yeah.
See, my problem with the beads is the beads work. The beads work for a full humidor. Let's say your humidor gets down to 2 or 3 sticks. Okay. Your cigar is going to be wet. Like they are literally going to be wet. Or some of them might be
they're not two-way. They're only
right.
Putting it out.
Right. So it'll work for a full humidor, and that's probably part of your problem is that you got a 100-stick humidor with 10 sticks in it, a full solution of beads, and
I don't think I ever had more than 10.
That solution is working for the 100 sticks instead of the 10 sticks that you have. That Boveda pack, it don't matter how many. You can have 1 stick; it's going to do its job. Okay. It's going to do exactly what it's supposed to do.
But see, you know what the issue is? You got to buy more sticks. That's the problem. See,
right?
Yeah, I gotta convince my wife of that too.
Right.
I said no because
here's the issue: you don't tell her. So when the boxes come to the mailbox, you just slide them into your humidor.
Hey, listen. Let me hit you to some game when it comes to your wife.
Come on,
this is what she say when she come in there and look in your humidor. She say, "Oh, you got a lot of sticks." Yeah, babe, I had them for a while. That's all you said. You might have had them for an hour. You might have had them for 2 weeks, but a while is a while.
You know yep. You just say how long that while was.
Yeah. If you like me, I hear that all the time in my house. Oh, I've been had this pocketbook. I had these shoes. Oh, you did?
Yeah, that's definitely good stuff. Now, I'll say this. One of the because you talked about LeeMack a little bit ago, you talked about how people have to decide what they like. Some people like real strong cigars as opposed to other ones. One of the things I know a lot of people will say, and then I hear people say it's a misconception, is about the Connecticut wrapper, because a lot of times it's light in color, so it equals the fact that it's not that flavorful, it's not full body, it's not full strength, any of that stuff. So I've been kind of like trying to weave my way through that. So I'll say this: I've had, and I can't tell you which ones. Oh, one was a Leaf by Oscar. It wasn't the Madura. It was the Corojo. And that one I liked a little bit. Like I didn't love it. But what I find is I tend to like the darker Maduro type cigars as opposed to the light. I don't know if I'm just smoking the wrong light ones. But when somebody said it just tastes like smoke, those lighter ones to me don't have any taste to them. They don't have a whole lot to them. They just taste like smoke. Now tell me, am I just seeing that wrong? Am I doing it wrong?
You're smoking the wrong ones.
Okay.
You smoking the wrong ones. So
give me a good Connecticut that I should try.
I'm gonna give you 2 or 3 good Connecticut's, right?
Okay.
First one is gonna be by DBL, Dominican Big Leaguer. The Amarillo. And I'm going to say the one that's got the Maduro stripe around it. It's not well known. Where are you at, Gray Man?
I'm outside of Pittsburgh.
All right. We'll touch. I have to send you some.
Okay.
That's a flavorful Connecticut. It's the wrappers on that Connecticut wrap cigar are aged in rum barrels. Francisco does like the steaming process, so you get this vanilla and this rum flavor in it. It's not like a flavored cigar. Good cigar. Christian Aroa, the CLE Connecticut. is another good cigar. That's a Connecticut. Perdomo Champagne is going to be a medium-bodied Connecticut, but very consistent. Comes in a lot of different sizes, so you could buy your favorite size. Good Connecticut cigars. So there are some good Connecticut wrap cigars, but I'm going to tell you there's a difference between the Connecticut wrapper that's grown in fact, most of them are not grown in Connecticut, but let's just say Connecticut versus a Connecticut wrapper that's grown in Ecuador. The ones that are grown in the States have a different and more flavor than the ones that are grown in Ecuador. They're going to be lighter. But really, it's not just the wrapper. It depends on the filler. AJ Fernandez, he makes any of the AJ Fernandez lighter colored cigars, you're going to get some punch out of it because that's the way he blends. Any of the My Father cigars that you're going to get some punch. It'll be a lighter flavor wrapper. So that when I first started smoking, my uncle got me into it, right? And he was like, I like the dark ones because the dark ones are strong. So we all kind of got to dark is strong, light is light, not flavorful, it's mild or whatever. That's just not necessarily the case. But that's where you work on developing your palate. When you buy something, I tell you, go buy what you're going to normally buy and then pick up one or two that is something that you never heard of, that may be out of your wheelhouse, something that you wouldn't try, and smoke that. You might not like it, but at least you expand your palate. You say, I smoked that, I like it.
Well, there's another one that'll fool you too, Rose of Sharon.
Absolutely.
God almighty. That is not Rose of Sharon by who makes that?
That's a Southern Draw.
Southern Draw. Man, that is probably one of my top 10s right there. But it's a Connecticut, and it's a great Maduro. It's a great Maduro.
Janice just put another good one in there too. The M Bombay Classic. That he does all Costa Rican cigars, the Costa Rican tobacco, I believe, and his stuff is going to be a little more expensive, but you're going to get that cinnamon spice because of the Costa Rican tobacco. Right. Costa Rican, Hondurans got a different type of spice than, say, like an AJ Fernandez Nicaraguan.
Man, I didn't know that. I just assumed, and I kind of fell for that whole, if it's light, it's not that, that flavorful. Yeah,
because I went, when Rose of Sharon first came out, I just thought Southern Draw made a lighter cigar. You know what I'm saying? I was at the beach smoking that thing, and I was like, good God. That thing fooled me all the way because I was like, this is probably a lighter smoke. It was in the morning. I smoked it in the morning, and that whole day I was like, oh Lord.
Right.
And Southern Draw, like if you're on the higher end with his Jacob's Ladder and Jacob's Ladder Brimstone,
right?
Those, have you smoked any of the Southern Draws?
I have not. No, I have not.
So try that Jacob's Ladder. That's gonna be up there. And if you got the nerve and the nuts for it, go for the Brimstone. That's gonna give it to you. But they also make a little small Habano, which is a little small cigar by Southern Draw. It's got a green and gold label or something on it. That's a great cigar as well. So you can't go by the color. A good color means nothing. It really depends on the blender and what they put inside of that cigar.
Now, back in the day, that might have been a thing. Now, back in the day, like the 90s or something, I think that was a thing. What somebody told me. But now, like, as much as they're changing up the leaf and all that stuff, I mean, the fillers and all that, man, you can get any cigar will fool you. You can get a dark cigar that's very light also. I mean, like you can I've had some dark cigars and I was like, man, this is not what I thought it was gonna be. It's still a good cigar, but it's not what I thought it was gonna be.
Wow. Let me ask y'all this. If you could only have one cigar the rest of your life, then you gotta commit to this one cigar.
Don't do that.
What's it going? You gotta pick one. Just one.
LeeMack?
I'm going.
That $120 cigar?
No. Well, that one, if I could only smoke one, yeah, but that's out of my money wheelhouse. I probably would go Atabey. Yep.
I don't know, man. I think my palate has changed because LFD was my favorite cigar. 10 years ago, you couldn't tell me anything about LFD. That was the best hands down manufacturer. But now I see LFDs are really not. I haven't been enjoying them like that. So I don't know, man. I love Southern draws. I love Southern draws. Anything that they make, I like. So I don't know, man. I couldn't tell you. Right now, I'm on Placencia. Placencia is something new. I just started smoking a couple months ago, and I'm on that real heavy. But like I said, you know, you might have one cigar that you love, and then the next day you done smoked it so much, it's like I don't want to see that thing for another year or two. You know what I'm saying? So.
And Diesel, you know, the funny thing is I was talking to Ron Real TV, and so we talk about our palates changing, and you're right. Palates have changed, and mine has changed as well. So I used to like, give me anything Maduro, dark leaf, or whatever. I tend to be now like, I want flavor more than say that punch and that oily pow. I want to smoke it. I want a clean finish. That's one of the reasons why I like HVC. Rene Lorenzo, he blends for the finish. He starts with the finish. And that finish is like, man, it's like you smoke it, you got it. When smoke is going, boom, it's gone. Yeah. I like that. So I want that nice, flavorful cigar. That's what I want to smoke. I don't.
You know, the first HVC I ever smoked was the one with LCA, the cake.
Not the
chocolate cake. I think it was hot cake. Yeah, hot cake.
Yeah,
that was a phenomenal. So I love that cigar, and I've been trying to find it ever since, man. So I mean, that was my first HVC I've smoked, and I smoked a few of them since then. But I've got to get some more, man. I've got to find some more.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and you know who else is doing a great young brother out of Dominican Republic is my man Jonas from Blackbird Cigars. They make some great cigars. He's doing some great things over there, and I typically don't care for Dominicans as much as I care for Nicaraguans because that mineral taste that you get. And it's just like bourbons. You know, you get a Dickel and you get that minerally vitamin taste or whatever. I don't necessarily like that. But his stuff doesn't taste like Dominican to me. You know, he did a couple of the LCA sticks as well, which is very good.
Which ones did he do?
He did the Vince. He did.
Oh, I love the Vince.
Yep, he did the Rio.
Okay.
That was LCA. I forget what else he did with LCA. But you know, he's got his own line now, which just came out. He's got like the Macaw and the Finch. They're all crow and they're all bird names.
Right.
Okay.
Wow. Right. Now, if I had to pick one right now where I'm sitting with my limited experience, I'm going what you smoking, Diesel. I'm going Liga number 9. Now that being said, this will bring me to another question. I've only smoked, and right now I'm saying the Liga number 9 is my favorite as we speak. Now, next week it might be different. I don't know. I've only smoked the Liga number 9 in the Corona size. What size? That's the only size. Now, I got 2 of my Humidor right now, 2 Toros.
Mm-hmm.
Should I expect them to taste different?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. See, that disappoints me because now when I smoke those Toros, I might not feel the same way about them that I did in the Corona.
Yeah, but you know the Liga number 9 Corona is what you like. You know what I'm saying? So regardless of the fact, you still know you like that number 9. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like I tell everybody, you can't go off of just the label. You have to go off the size because, you know, a 60 gauge is going to smoke different than a 50 gauge. You know what I'm saying? Like you're going to have to draw it differently and all that stuff. And usually what I tell people that's first starting off, it is good for people to become a member of, let's say like Boveda, their farm road. There's no labels on it, but you know where it's coming from. So a lot of people have to order offline. And if they don't know what region they like best when it comes to ordering offline, it's going to be hard for you to, navigate through all these different cigars that are out there and stuff like that. So I tell people, if you can get something that's going to give you a different taste from different regions and you can figure out what region you like and then go and build from that on what company you like and what leaf you like, Maduro, stuff like that, and build on those. That's going to build your foundation on ordering online because, like I said, it's a beast when you order online. There are so many cigars out there. And just because it's light don't mean it's light. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you know, with that Corona, see, I am a 50 gauge and below lover, right? So when you're talking about that Corona, Corona Gorda or whatever the case. When you go up to 60 ring gauge, it depends on where they blended that cigar, and then they will add leaves and try to make it be the same. You know, it's almost like a blended scotch. You know, we try to make it taste the same, but they've got to add more leaf into it. So now they're adding more filler leaf. So Ron will say all the time, "Listen, man, give me less filler and more killer."
Lancero, baby.
I love a Lancero. If you can get it to draw well and you get good construction, it's great. So when you're smoking that Corona, what you're tasting mostly is the wrapper. You're getting a lot of the flavor from that Liga wrapper. When you go up to the Toro, now you got more filler in your way. So the wrapper is still going to be there. It's still only one wrapper leaf. Think about it. Now you got more tobacco in the middle. So now you're going to be tasting that filler
a lot more
in addition to your wrapper. So it's going to taste different, and you may or may not like it better or worse.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I'm interested to try the Toro size on that Liga and see if I still feel exactly the same about it.
Liga is Liga, man. Liga's gonna make a good cigar, man.
Regardless,
they make real good cigars. I mean, like, you know, I'm more of the 54 gauge kind of guy. I like the, you know, the 54 Robustos and stuff like that. I will go up to a 60, but anything under a 50, it has to be a Lancero. I can't smoke anything other than a Lancero under 50. You know what I'm saying? I can smoke it, but I see myself enjoying Lanceros a lot more if it's under 50.
Yeah, I love Lanceros, but again, you know, when people come into the shop, they'll say, "I want to buy a cigar for a guy," and I'll ask them about the guy, right? What does he like? What does he like to drink? What does he, you know, eat? That type of thing. Then I ask you, how big is the guy, right? So if he's a big dude, he's a football player, whatever, I'm typically not going to suggest a Lancero for that guy.
Right.
Because in your hands, that cigar has to feel and look a certain way. And a big guy typically is going to be uncomfortable with this little tiny dainty cigar. But if you're, I'm going to call it aficionado, lover, or whatever, you'll be like, I don't care what it looks like. I want the taste. The Lancero is the way to go.
Yep. Because you're getting a lot more of that wrapper than you are in the
sir.
Boy.
So if y'all had to pick, we're gonna switch back to firearms. If y'all had to pick one firearm, what would you pick?
I'm gonna let you go, Diesel, because I'm
anything 1911. Anything 1911, I'm rocking with.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I've never shot the 1911, but the 1911 is just sexy to me. I just like the way it looks, man.
Oh God, if it was a female, we'd have babies. Shoot, man, I love it. If you shoot a 1911, man, it's just a different
to me, it's just a nice looking piece.
Classic.
I don't know. I just like the way it looks.
Yeah.
And I love all metal guns.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I'm cool with polymer, and polymer is nice to carry because it's light. But when you hold a 1911, it just feels different.
Oh yeah.
It just feels different.
Oh yeah.
So LeeMack, what you going with 1911 also?
I don't know. I got no answer on that because my experience is just too limited.
Right. So maybe the Versa.
Hey, listen, the Bursa has treated me well. You know,
people
say, well, I don't know about it. I never heard of it, yada, yada, yada. It comes out of Czechoslovakia. I'm like, listen, the important thing is that it'll send the round downrange. So that's what I needed to do.
Yeah,
that's what I tell people. Don't worry about what it says, because you know what? The thing about it is a lot of people want to put all this stuff and they're going to make the gun look nice and all that stuff. And I'm like, are you trying to show this gun off before you shoot somebody? Or is it one of them things? Are they going to see what you rocking with when you shoot them? I mean, when you have to defend yourself. You know what I'm saying? So it don't matter as long as it works. You know what I'm saying? It just, you know, High Point is a very good gun. A lot of people get it misconstrued. And me being
watch it, Diesel.
I'm telling you, listen.
You're gonna get hate. You're gonna get hate, man.
I'm gonna get a lot of hate, but see, the thing about it is that people don't realize is the High Point is a throwdown gun for the streets because it's so cheap. But what people don't realize is I've taken a lot of High Points off the streets, and every single one of them has different caliber rounds in that magazine. You might get a 40 caliber High Point with 9mm, 38s, 45s in that magazine, and they wonder why it jams. It's because they're not using the right. I mean, I've seen that with almost every single high point I've taken off the street.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You're not. A lot of people aren't getting their information from a good source. You know what I'm saying? You're getting it from the people that's carry them and don't really know about guns. They just got a gun because they want it for protection, and they don't even know what kind of ammunition to put in.
Right.
Yeah.
I gotta say, if I'm going with one gun, and I'm thinking pistols. I mean, when you want to talk rifles, we talk rifles, but I'm thinking pistols. If I gotta go with one pistol, it might be that Glock 21. Just because I'm so accurate with it. It absorbs the recoil of that 45 ACP
45 is
like a champ. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I love that gun. It's the one gun that when I go to the range and I shoot it and I'm out of ammo, I'm pissed.
Let me tell you something, though.
You know,
LeeMack, I mean, not LeeMack, but Gray, man. Let me tell you something. Every single first place win that I've gotten on my shooting competitions would have been a out of the box Glock 21. And I won 5 years in a row with a Glock 21 out the box.
Yeah, I love it, man. If I had to protect myself and I had one pistol, that's the one I'm taking.
Right.
I like it a lot. And I'm not a big Glock. Like, I like Glocks. I got a 21 and a 17, and I've had some other ones. I'm not like a Glock fanboy that's going to be about Glock all day. And like you said earlier, LeeMack, telling you Glock is the best, you got to get a Glock. That's not me.
Right.
But I love that Glock 21.
It's best for you, though. It works for you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've got so many Glocks, but I've got so many Cigs too. I've got Smith. You know what I'm saying? Like I've got all of them, but it's one of those things. It's like what works best for you. Like I carry a Glock on duty, and I tell everybody if I had to choose one to be with one for the rest of my life, it would be a Glock because I've been trained so much. I can break that thing down and change every single part in it. That is the only reason I would take a Glock over any other gun. Is because I just know so much about it. I'm a certified armor and all that stuff. But when it comes down to it, I shoot a Sig better than I shoot my Glock.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to shooting, I'd rather have a Sig. But when it comes to like if I had to have one, it'd be a Glock between those two.
Yeah.
You know.
I gotta say too, outside of that 21, I do shoot Sigs better. Just because I like the grip angle.
Right.
You know, they're a little bit different on the two. I gotta say though that I feel like on the 21, and you since you have a lot of experience with it, but I feel like on the 21, that grip angle isn't as noticeable.
Well, see,
maybe because it's such a bigger gun.
It's a bigger grip because of the round that you have in it. A lot of like it's one of those things where you can tell a 45 grip on a Glock than a 9mm grip because it's so much bigger. You know what I'm saying?
So much in your hand.
Right.
Yeah, no
and
doubt.
that's probably why a lot of people that like all metal guns like that Glock because you're getting the same kind of feel when it comes with the all metal gun that you are with that Glock.
Yep. All right, gentlemen, we've been an hour and 45 minutes almost, and I don't want to take up all your night, so I appreciate you guys sitting out with me tonight. Like I said, you could have been doing anything else. So I appreciate that.
I'm good, man. I appreciate you having me on, especially with my boy LeeMack, man. LeeMack, it was a pleasure. Man, any time, bro, we can chop it up, man. I love your channel. And same with you, Gray, man. You know, I'm always here for you, Gray, man. You know, you my boy.
Yeah. Hey, look, y'all, any of y'all that's out here watching right now, if you don't know these two fellas, go to their channel, check out their content. You won't be disappointed. Smash the subscribe button. If you're watching it on playback, same thing. Check these guys out. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. All right.
Yeah, and I gotta say I appreciate it, and it was a good time. Definitely, you know, getting to know y'all fellas, and definitely I will subscribe. I'm subscribed to you, Gray, man. Diesel, I'll go over there. I think I'm subscribed to you as well. Go over there, check out some more of the content. Definitely, we all have to support each other. We do our things, some things similar, some things different. But, you know, listen, I before I get out of here, I got to say my signature line. Today is another great day. You know, when you wake up in the morning, you got to say to yourself, today's going to be another great day because your subconscious mind don't know the difference between the truth and the lie. So if you're going to tell it anything, you might as well tell it a good damn lie. That's what I've been doing for 15 years. People say, LeeMack912, everything must be doing good in your life. Everything must be going good. I say, no, Everything is not good in my life, but I'm still having great days.
I hear that.
Sing it for me, LeeMack. Sing it for me, LeeMack. Sing it for me. Come on. I want to take you higher.
Yeah, you know I want to take you higher.
There it goes.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
Look,
man.
I appreciate y'all, brothers. Hey, we're gonna have to do this again, and especially
Yes,
once my palate gets developed, I'm gonna bring y'all back. We're gonna have some more conversation.
Hey, brother, you doing good, man. You doing good. You are smoking. You are learning. You are trying to learn about what you don't know. You know, anytime. You know, I'm always a resource, brother. You got the number. You could definitely hit me up on anything. But that's it. Too many people want to just say that they know everything and there's nothing to learn. You gotta say that we all can learn. I learn stuff every day. Still, even in the cigar space, I learn a lot of stuff. I don't know it all. You know, so.
Yep.
If you learn that you are not the expert, nobody is the expert. We can all learn from each other, and we can have a great time while we learn.
No doubt, no doubt. And look, I think Santee TV is live. Y'all gonna check that out once y'all leave here. Go jump over to Santee and check her out. She do some good stuff too. So check her out, definitely. All right, fellas. I appreciate it. Much love to you. Signing off.
All right, peace.
Peace.